Hey everybody, welcome back to the farm. So today what I was going to show you is how well the boys have gotten used to me smacking horse flies and spraying them with the fly spray. But I ended up putting some soap in the ditch out front, so I think that has really knocked the horse flies down quite a bit, or I hope it has anyway. But the regular flies are still bad. So the regular flies and the gnats are still bad, but you see he's completely free and he can go eat and do whatever he wants, and he's choosing just to stay right here and let me spray him. Titus, on the other hand, he's already checked out. He's out there in the pasture behind the wash rack there. You can see him way over there. And the girls and the boys have got their halters on, guys. I'm aware that halters are dangerous, but they're just now coming out of the stalls. So I'm going to spray them, and then I'm going to take their halters off. So don't worry, they're not going to be running around with their halters on. Both of the boys have learned that I'm spraying them, and they know well what a horsefly is as well. And they know that when I'm coming, I can smack them. Now, I'm not going to go up and smack them right now just to show you that I can smack them, but I told you in videos previously that they were going to get used to me smacking them before the summer was over, and they are. Looks like we've got some horse riders in the woods next door. And look who came to join the party. Titus. Look at the size of that horsefly. That's what I just took off of Gene. This is what bites the living crap out of him. I just got 23 rolls of Bermuda. I normally don't buy it at the beginning of the season. I normally buy it kind of as I need it, you know, four rolls at a time kind of deal. But you're constantly running down to the hay guy, and as it gets later in the season, they start running out. So he was pulling this out of the field and said, you know, if I can bring it directly to your farm instead of taking it to my barn and then having to handle it, taking it off the trailer, putting it into my barn, and then having to get out of my barn to get it back over here to you, I can give it to you for cheaper. So I said, just go ahead and bring it on. So I got 23 rolls. That was what was left in the field that he was working. This is all Bermuda. I used 25 rolls last year, but I was using smaller rolls. I didn't start using these rolls until, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of the way through the season. So 23 rolls is gonna get me dang near to the end of next spring. I'll start feeding when I come back from Mount Hope, which will be, I think I'll be back on the 11th or the 12th of October. I'm leaving on the 7th. So I'll start feeding them hay when I come back or shortly thereafter. As you can see from the fields, you know, we've still got lots of grass down, and they're still grazing quite a bit. They're really enjoying the barnyard. They ate in the barnyard last night for probably, I don't know, 3 hours or so. But there's still stuff there for them to eat. Gene's telling me there's horses in the woods. You remember a couple of weeks ago when the wire broke, and I mentioned that the girls or the boys didn't have any scars on them, so I had just assumed that a deer got in there. And plus they were real high up in the air, so the girls wouldn't have got tangled up in them. But part of the fence was missing, and I couldn't figure out what happened to part of the fence. Well, I found it. Well, the bush hog found it. And the bush hog wadded it all up for me. But there's still no turnbuckle on there, so I don't know where the turnbuckles are. But that was a big section of fence I told you came up missing, and I had no idea where it was. I don't know. Haven't seen or smelled any dead deer, but I'm sure somebody's hurting pretty bad. Let's go down here and check out the bathhouse. All right, so here's the long-awaited bathhouse. Not done with the outside yet. I've got to paint those bricks underneath there brown, and then I'm gonna put some brown lattice around there, and then I'm gonna put some cypress mulch like I put around the tack room up here. And I've got to paint the steps, but I'm gonna let it cool off, guys. It has gotten hot again, and it is super humid, and I'm just not wanting to get out here and sweat like that. So, got a rocking chair front porch. I furnished this whole thing, guys, with marketplace items. And I'm not completely done. I've still got to do a little bit of touch-up paint, and I've got a couple of outlet covers off. But you can see I put these bulbs up outside. I'll show you what that looks like at night. And then we got a 6x12 front porch, and it stays in the shade the majority of the time. And this is about the only place in the farm where you can sit and get a breeze blowing on you. So, and it's just a nice view, just sitting out there looking, watching the sun go down. The sun goes down right out there, and watch the windmill turn, and kids typically come down here and stand on the fence. Let's go inside. All right. It's gonna be hard to show you all this from a wide angle because I don't have a wide angle. But we got LVP flooring down, and it's a black, gray, blue, slate. I mean, it's a, I forgot, it's called something ash, but it looks really good. All right, so you come in the door, and then you got the laundry area, and then you got open shelves up above it. I don't have everything on the shelves yet, but these shelves are going to be decorative shelves. They're not going to be cabinets where you're going to put a lot of junk. So what I did is I bought an 18-inch base cabinet for a kitchen, painted it blue to match the wall in the bathroom. And then I had a guy here locally cut me a butcher block countertop, and I put that on there, and it works perfect. And then what I did is I framed the windows out in rough sawn cedar. That worked out real good. And then I did rough sawn cedar all the way around the base. And I didn't go crazy with mitering and all that. So if you want a miter, you go ahead, but I just did butt joints. And then I cut it out right here to go around the outlet cover. And that's one of them that I got to put on. And then I've got just a rustic farmhouse light right here. And then I've got a ceiling fan right here. All right, and then I bought a dresser, so you can take your clothes out, fold them up, and then put them right into the dresser. And then I've got this tobacco basket for decor. And this tobacco basket is out of Maysville, Kentucky, out of the Star Warehouse. And back in the day, in the 20s and the 30s, Maysville, Kentucky was the second largest burley tobacco manufacturing hub in the world. Burley tobacco was cigarette tobacco. But yeah, that's a piece of history right there. I wonder if any of you guys are from Maysville, Kentucky, or had any relatives that worked there at the Star Warehouse. I'd be interested in knowing. But again, I just carried the rough sawn cedar theme all the way around. And then over here on this side, I've got this bench, and then right above it, I've got the Borax Wagon 20 Mule Team. Of course, you got terrible reflection, but it's got the 20 Borax team with all the statistics underneath there. And if any of you guys watch Ingles Wagon Works, David Ingle, then you know he made a set of these for the anniversary, and they're now out in Death Valley in the museum out there. But this bench is real interesting. This bench is made out of old wooden hames. The armrests are old wooden hames. And then the back support is metal hames. And they're all still fully functional. And then the very tips of these were cut off and used down here for cup supports. Cut a piece of metal, put a piece of metal there, and then put a horseshoe there so you set your drink in there. And then a couple of crisscrossed here on the back. And then the exact same thing over on this side on this wooden hames. And there's the tip of the wooden hames. And then down here at the bottom, he used two yard wheels off of some, like a old antique wheelbarrow. And got a horse bit, got a 4-leaf clover, and this is just an old leaf spring down here, but got a horseshoe on either end for the foot, and then a horseshoe to, kind of support it and decorate it, and then kind of ran out of horse themed products, so there's two things on here that aren't really horse themed, but still vintage. I mean, this is a railroad spike, but old blacksmiths would take those and, hammer them down and make things out of them for the farm. And then over here on this side, this wheel was so rusted out that he took all the spokes out and just put horseshoes in here and got a massive draft shoe here and got another draft shoe here with some Boreum Drill Tech on it, and then a couple smaller ones. So he made the Made the spokes out of that, then put a steer on there and a Texas star. And then the same thing, a leaf spring and a couple of horseshoes to support it, or just to decorate it. And then there's a wrench back there. That's the second item that isn't horse related. And then a welcome sign right there. And then this is just angle iron here with some square stock, just to, you know, build the support on it. And then just bend a piece of a 1/4 inch tube and then put a cowbell on it. So that is my horse themed bench, farm themed bench, driving themed bench underneath the 20 Borax team. Then I've got a clear view AC unit. So you see it doesn't block the entire window, it only blocks the bottom 4 inches. So the fan portion is in here, and then the motor portion is hanging out there, but it's a saddle basically, and sits low in the window, and you still have your entire window to look out. It's called a Clear View air conditioner. It's made by GE. So that's the laundry room portion, and you could put a cot here if you wanted to, if you needed to spend the night in here, but I don't because I've got a camper. Then you got the barn door. Oh, the wall, I didn't run the wall all the way up. I ran the wall up to where ventilation could go across it. And then hung the barn door. And if you needed privacy, you can close the barn door. Slide super easy until it hits the stop. And now if you needed to, you know, be in the bathroom while somebody was out here doing laundry or something, you got all the privacy you need. I don't typically close it because I don't really care if somebody sees me. You know, if they want to see an old dude, then have at it. All right, I put some wood trim up there on the top of the wall to dress the wall out as well. And then coming into the bathroom, I did an accent wall, so I painted the whole wall midnight blue. And you've got a light up here with the Edison bulbs, keeping up with the theme of, you know, the bulbs that are out there and that. And everything is black. So the lights, the fan, you know, the hardware on here, the hardware on the cabinet. This is only for laundry soap. I forgot to tell you, that's only for laundry soap and stuff. And, you know, whenever there's cabinets up here, those cabinets just end up being a catch-all for all your crap. All you need is laundry soap, fabric softener, and stain remover. So I got a drawer to keep, you know, a couple little lint necks in. All right, going back to the bathroom. We got, you know, black theme in here with the knobs and the sink and all that. So what we got is we got a 36-inch cabinet. The floor runs all the way through, comes all the way in. And then an elongated toilet that is seat height, not a round toilet. And then I had one more shelf left, and that one more shelf, I didn't want to put it out there in the laundry room, so I put it here. I mean, yeah, in the laundry room above the washer and dryer, so I put it in here, and I hung the toilet paper from it, and that way you can put a magazine or your phone or, you know, whatever. And then I picked up this piece of abstract, you know, art that was metal and wood and everything, and it was fitting for this space. Again, everything came off of Marketplace. Picked up this armoire, and so you can hang clothes in here and then put big bulky items over there, and you've got 3 more drawers down there. Then plus the 5 drawers you got here. That's a double drawer down there, so put more deep stuff down there. And then a big mirror. You've got a 46-inch shower. And I didn't skimp on the stuff. I put Delta in here. I wasn't gonna put any Glacier Bay or whatever that Home Depot crap is. I put Deltas everywhere. You got a towel hook there, so you can just hang your towel there, and then you just reach out and pull your towel in and dry yourself off. Rug down here to step on when you get out of the shower, and then a rug in front of the vanity. Got an on-demand water heater. If you notice, it's off right now, but when I turn it on and give it a demand, it turns on. And then when I take the demand away for hot water, leave the water running, but I'll just make it cold, it turns off. And I'm telling you what, when you're in that shower, you can stand in there forever. It's awesome. Then I've got a closet here. Haven't done the shelves, but I've got to put shelves in here. And then I'll be able to keep, you know, my toiletries and everything in here, all supplies in here, but I'll also have enough room for brooms and Swiffers and stuff like that. And that was just a little, very narrow 18-inch door. Exhaust fan up there. Turned out really good. I'm very pleased with it. I've still got some decorating to do. I've got this wall right here. I can put stuff up, some smaller stuff. I've got to put some more stuff on this shelf right here. There may be a small picture going right here above the armoire. And that's it. So I need about 3 more items. All right, guys, that's it for the bathhouse. I'll be interested to see what this air conditioner sounds like. It's really, really quiet in here, but you might hear it a little bit on the video. I got a little bit of an echo in here, but it's not a big deal. I don't want to put a rug on the floor because you're coming in and out of the farm. I did want a rug, you know, in front of the shower. But I tell you what, it has been really nice having this operational now and being out here all day long, and then coming over here and getting cleaned up and getting into some clean clothes. And then when you leave here, you're dressed and you're, you know, ready to go over there and start cooking dinner or something. And it's gotten back hot again, and it's gotten humid, but the previous week there was no humidity. But once the sun goes down, it cools off. It gets down into the 70s and even into the 60s. So the evenings are really nice. It's just hot during the day. But now that this bathhouse is done, and the hay barn is done, and the RV part is done, and the tack room is done, we are done. Just like I said last week, we're done with all of the infrastructure that needed to be put in place on this farm. It is 100% operational now. The only thing now is area beautification. I've got to get on this back field. I've got to get it cut. And I've just cut paddock 2. I've got to redo paddocks 1 and 3. I need to go around with the edger and trim the fence line. And I'm hoping to get all that done this week. But from this point forward, I can do area beautification. I've always had a project going that I've had to work on. And I'm still going to have projects, but they're not going to be month-long projects. So I can start focusing on, you know, keeping this place cut, mainly. But what I want to do, and I maybe some of you guys can help me, I'm licensed under Department of Agriculture to be a boarding facility out here, but I really don't want to be a boarding facility. The same license that allows you to be a boarding facility is the same license you got to have to do carriage operations in the state. And I didn't know if I was going to be doing carriage operations, but I didn't want to be out there and then code enforcement roll up on me and say, where's your whatever license, and I didn't have it, and he gives me a ticket because he can. But I am licensed to be a boarding facility, but I don't really want to be a boarding facility. I don't want that constant traffic in and out all the time and having to worry about who the boarders are bringing onto the farm with them and have to worry about stuff walking off. And I don't have to worry about any of that right now because I'm here by myself and nobody comes over. But what I would like to do is I would like to use this farm and my horses as a vessel for first responders and military with PTSD to come out here to my farm and to do equine therapy. Equine therapy is a real thing. And there are therapists out there and there are licensed clinicians out there that would love to do equine therapy with first responders and military PTSD. But they don't have a vessel, they don't have the farm, and they don't have the horses. I've got that. So I want to open this up to the public, open it up to you. Now that there's a bathroom, haven't been able to do anything before, just can't bring women and children and elderly out here with no facilities. So now the facilities are in place. We got refrigerators, we got drinks, we've got everything we need. So I would like to, I don't want to be a licensed clinician. I don't want to go to school. I'm never going to be a psychiatrist, so that's out of the question. But you can go and do weekend seminars and be a licensed clinician and hold PTSD clinics. I don't want to do that. I just want to provide the farm and some of the horses. I don't want to be riding horses. I just want to do hands-on, touching, grooming, lead roping, that type of stuff. If the clinician or the therapist had volunteers that they wanted to bring out, they wanted to bring their saddle horses, then obviously we've got the place for it. And Sarah the volunteer or John the volunteer or whoever, they could bring their horses and they could do a riding portion. But we could do a therapy once a week, once every a quarter, once every 6 months, once a year, something. I'm just trying to open it up. I've reached out to veterans organizations. I've reached out to Wounded Warrior Foundation. I've talked with military therapists with the VA. Nobody knows where to send me, where to go. I found out today, talking to a friend of mine, where there's a therapy clinic, and that's about 30 minutes away, and I could go over there and talk to them and see what they're doing and how they're doing it. But maybe some of you are in that arena and are already in that arena, and are possibly looking for something, or know somebody that is looking for something. But anyway, that's where I want to go with this farm, is opening it up to be equine therapy for first responders and military PTSD. Maybe even a group of children with Tourette syndrome or mental retardation. They wanted to come out and do a day camp or a 2-day camp or whatever. I don't know. Once that door gets open, it can get a lot of pieces can get moving. So just got to get that door open and figure out how to do that. But that's ultimately where I want to go, as I've said. So that's going to do it for this week, guys. As always, remember who you are. Be kind to those around you. Stand up for what you believe in.